So 10 years ago, I was at a critical juncture of my life. I was planning to take a career break to do an MBA. So I had enrolled for some coaching classes, and I was attending them on and off along with my job. I didn't score too well in one of the mock tests, so the counselor decided to have a word with me. Try some Tier B colleges, Swati. You may have a higher chance of getting into them, she said. Now, my counselor did not know me, did not know my life, my aspirations. She just knew my scores and based her advice on it. On my way back home, I thought about my life. I had a good job, I was doing well, I was learning a lot. Doing an MBA would mean losing 2 years of my salary and paying the course fee. So I needed to go to a college where I would learn significantly more than I was learning at my job and get significantly better career opportunities. So I made my own list. It was a list of about 6 colleges among the top 10 in the country. I did not apply to a single college my counselor had suggested. That year, I got into a college on the top of my list, and my life changed. But often I wonder, what if I had acted on the counselor's advice? My life would have been different based on just one variable, a question. A question that my counselor based her advice on. Which colleges is she most likely to get into? And a question that I based my actions on. Which colleges would be worth it? Through this and many other incidents of my life, and as I started observing lives of others, one thing became very clear to me, that life is like a Google screen. There are many answers that can be shown to us, many paths that can be revealed to us. But finally, what shows up on our screen depends only on what we ask. So I'd like to imagine a giant Google screen. Imagine standing in front of it. Imagine your name written in bold. Imagine the cursor blinking, waiting for you to type. Now I want all of you to quickly close your eyes. Go ahead, close your eyes. Now, slowly imagine yourself typing what you want to ask life for. Okay, we can open our eyes. Now, I don't know what it is that you typed on the screen. If you said how to escape the academic stress, or how to get into a good college, how to save enough for retirement, or how to make a name for myself in this world. But the truth is, all of us type different things on our screen, and the option that gets shown to us depends only on what we ask. So if questions are so important, are there some principles that we can keep in mind to ask better questions? I think there are 3. The first one, be aware of your question. Now, if I take 2 students from this auditorium, maybe student A is typing on his or her screen, how do I become a master in this subject? And student B is typing, how can I score more in this subject? Would it surprise you if student A suddenly starts to become aware of opportunities to learn about that subject? He or she suddenly stumbles upon authors who have written on that subject, or interesting online groups and communities. Even contests or competitions you can enter to apply principles. And student B might stumble upon websites offering advice on how to do well in the exam, or run into seniors or tutors that can help him or her do well, or even last few years' question papers and how to deal with it. Now, mind you, all these opportunities are available equally with both the students. But they notice some opportunities and miss the other based on what they are seeking. In his best-selling book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, author Robin Sharma talks of this ancient principle called joriki, or the power of a concentrated mind. He gives an example of how when you hear about a strange name, you suddenly start to notice it everywhere. Maybe mentioned in the newspaper, television, or people talking about it at work. Now, mind you, that name was always there, but it is just now that we have started paying attention to it. Our questions act in a similar way. They make us notice some opportunities and miss the others. They make us pay more attention to some people and ignore the others. So if so much in our life shapes up because of the questions, does it make sense that we are at least aware of them? So today, I want you to go back home, take a diary, and write down the questions you have been asking life so far. It might not be easy. You might be staring at a blank page. But persist and take that time until you have been able to write in so many words the questions you are asking life at this point in time. Principle number 2 is to ask your own question. Now, you would know about this feature of Google when we start to type a question, and then a whole bunch of other questions get suggested to us based on maybe what other users are asking. And often we even get distracted, start asking some of those questions instead of completing the one that we wanted to ask. Now that happens to our life questions as well. For example, what is that one question that youngsters are asking all the time? The dreaded, what do I want to be when I grow up? Now think of this. Is that really your question? Or have you been asked that question so many times that you have allowed it to autocomplete any question that you may have wanted to ask? Let me share the story of a person who did not allow her question to get overridden by what others were suggesting. We know about Helen Keller. Helen Keller became blind and deaf at very early childhood due to an illness. But Keller is a legend and an inspiration for what she achieved despite that. So in her autobiography, The Story of My Life, Keller talks of this incident when, as a child, she was visiting a college. And she surprised everyone with this announcement, one day I shall go to college and I shall go to Harvard. Now you can imagine the concern, the doubt of the people around her. This was the very late 1800s, and any kind of education for a person who could not see and hear was difficult. How would she listen to the lectures? How would she write down notes? Educational material in Braille or any other aids available today was not available so easily at that time. The question Keller was asking life was, how can I go to the best educational institute? And the question others were suggesting were, how will you ever cope up with the rigor of higher education? How will you ever compete with those who can hear and see? But Keller stuck to her question. In 1904, Helen Keller became the first blind and deaf person to graduate. Now you might wonder, did she go to Harvard finally? The answer is no, because back then, Harvard did not admit women. But the story doesn't end there. While Keller could not go to Harvard, the college Keller went to formally merged with Harvard in future and is today known as the Harvard's Radcliffe Institute of Advanced Studies. That's the power of a question. Sometimes they are so forceful that they will transcend our lifetime and come true in very unusual ways. So make sure that the question you're asking is really your own question. Which brings me to the third principle. Are you asking your question based on possibilities or probabilities? Probability is the chance of something happening. A high chance means high probability, and a low chance means low probability. Possibility talks of potential. And the best thing is, even when there is no probability, there is always at least one possibility of something happening. Now, many of you at this time might be writing on your life's Google screen, how can I build a career in science? Now, you have assumed that science is what you should build a career in because you may have estimated that you have a high probability of success. Maybe because of opportunities in that area, or you have scored well in that subject. But maybe what your heart really wants to ask is, how can I be an art curator? But you don't have the resources, the connections. No one in your family has ever done it before. So you estimate that you have a low probability of success, and you do not even ask that question and deprive yourself of a possibility that always exists. Let me tell you about a person who shows to us what asking life questions based on possibilities looks like. He was born in South Africa to a very regular family. His father is an engineer, mother a dietitian and model. He is about 47 years of age, and today we know him as Elon Musk. Elon Musk has started some of the most innovative companies of our times. Tesla, renewable energy; SpaceX, reusable rockets; The Boring Company, faster transportation using underground channels. You would have heard of Hyperloop, and a couple of others. Now, I have always been curious, what makes a person start companies of this kind, and not one, but so many? So Chris Anderson, who is the head of the TED organization, he was in a conversation with Elon Musk on the TED platform. And he asked Elon Musk a question pertaining to the company SpaceX. SpaceX, as you know, is trying to build reusable rockets, and that's not something that has been done before. And they're building a transportation system between Earth and Mars. So Chris Anderson asks, why Elon? Why do we need to build a city on Mars with 1 million people on it? To this, Elon Musk says, there have to be reasons you wake up in the morning. Like, why do you live? What's the point? What inspires you? What do you like about the future? If the future does not include being out there among the stars and being a multi-planetary species, I find that depressing. Now figure this, a multi-planetary species, transport system to Mars, reusing rockets, never been done before. Outrageous goals, to say the least. Is Elon Musk the richest person on Earth? Is he the smartest? The most powerful? Does he even have experience in some of these? Yet Elon Musk does what he does because people like Elon Musk do not base their life questions based on a probability of success. They base their life questions based on possibility. And that is our third and final principle. Which brings me to the question, why do asking these questions matter? Of late, we are a society obsessed with goals, setting goals, achieving goals. Yet we are struggling with it. A study found that 92% of the people do not even achieve the goals they set during New Year. A study of American teenagers found that almost 1 in 5 did not know what career they were interested in. I work with professionals, and I hear all the time, I don't know what I want to do next in life. So why are we struggling so much? I think it is because we are missing a critical step that comes even before setting the goals. It's the step of asking these life questions. What are you seeking in life? Are you seeking adventure? Or are you seeking a quiet, secure life? Are you seeking only to do well for yourself? Or are you seeking to create a larger impact in the world? Because it is only when we base our goals on these life questions do we have the conviction to see them through. Because life is like a Google screen. And the best thing is, it's the same screen that's available to you, to me, to Elon Musk, to Helen Keller. It's the same algorithm. What you see on your screen depends only on what you ask. So the final question is, are we asking wisely? Are we asking well? Thank you.